Well, hey, it has been a long time, and this is Wayne with Fruits and Berries, small Tennessean homestead, and I'm out here late this afternoon. Late being around 3:30, going on 4 o'clock or so. I was in our living room with my damaged leg propped up. I twisted my left kneecap by doing a project, and I'll show you right here. I'm at the back end of our property, and what I'm showing you is still our piece of our property. It's about another 8 to 10 feet to the cow pasture that's behind us, which is about 120 acres. And so we get the Black Angus cows, multitudes of them, often coming right up to the fencing here, and they just love being underneath these pine trees that I have spent several hours trimming because the branches were almost touching the ground. And last winter when it snowed, now we just had snow yesterday, a lot of it has melted already today. You can see little patches of it, but you couldn't get back here. And this is part of our property, and I've got some ideas that I'm going to be doing here in the next few months, like transplanting a lot of the fruit orchard. I have made a major mistake here on our homestead, and I guess I'm a typical guy thinking I don't have to ask, I don't have to do certain things, I just know everything. Well, that's not the case. I made a major mistake because part of this homestead here, the back property, a lot of it is a leach field. And when we moved here from our homestead in Texas to this location 2 years ago now, definitely we've been here now for 2 years, I did a massive buying of fruit trees because I was devastated. I lost my fruit orchard in Texas that I worked several years in creating, and sold it, and came here, and there was no edible plants on this piece of just pretty lawn and pretty house and a sizable piece of property for a subdivision, but no food, no fruit trees, no vegetables, no nothing. So I went ahead and bought peach trees and apple trees and plum trees and nectarine trees and cherry trees. What am I missing? Oh, and the nut trees, the hazelnuts, walnuts, chestnuts, and I'm probably missing, I have figs and whatever else is out here. So what I want to show you here is, like, this tree right here is one of the plum trees. There's another plum tree right there, where you see Champ, the Australian shepherd, chewing on a stick right over there. I had fig trees, and the nectarine, or not nectarine, but the plum trees were planted sort of as approaching down towards the house there, past the fire pit. And guess what? That's where the leach field is at. Oh my gosh, it's just like, and then our new neighbors that are just moved into that beautiful new home right there, they're on over an acre, I believe, next door to us. And the missus from the house made a comment. She goes, "Wayne, I don't know if I'd want to eat any of your peaches because they're right next to the leach field." Hint, hint, like, I know what she was alluding to, that the roots would go into the leach field and suck up all the yuck, and that's what you would be munching on. I don't think so. I don't think I planted them close enough. The roots will only go out as far as the upright branches of a given fruit tree. You can get on the internet, you can check out root structures of fruit trees, and especially like apple trees and peach trees and things like that. And and I agree with what the internet and what certain experts have said that I probably don't have anything to worry about. But our neighbor, and she's a wonderful lady, but I understand her scenario. So, you know, I just made a decision that in the next few weeks, after my knee heals, when I was doing this right over here that I was just showing, when I was clearing out a lot of the branches and stuff from those pine trees, I twisted my left leg. And this was like this past weekend. New Year's Day. Was it New Year's Day? Yeah, it was New Year's Day, Sunday? Anyway, holy cow, man. I was in excruciating pain. Still am. I'm still limping right now. And I had to go to a medical clinic yesterday. And so they have me on some medicine to keep the swelling down, and hopefully it will disappear. And so I'm doing very little ambulation, very little walking. But what a lesson to learn. You know, my wife was upset with me because I was out here all by myself with the dogs. The dogs loved it. You know, with all the falling branches I was hacking down to clear out the path back here. And I must have bent over, or I stepped in a hole back here. And, you know, this about, you know, just right here by these pine trees. And boy, you know, this is the cleanest I've ever seen it since we've lived here in the last 2 years. But look at, I just threw everything over the fence, you know, so now I got to clear up all of this, and I'm hoping to be able to chop it up enough and put it into the fire pit and get a good fire going and getting all this cleaned up. But what I want to do, y'all, is I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Definitely, I have about 3 months to get my act together here. And 3 months, in other words, before spring gets here. And that's my blackberry, blueberry, raspberry bush planting. You hardly see anything there because, you know, all the leaves are gone and you know, it's just winter. You know, so it looks like everything's dead, but it's not. They're all alive. But I've got... let's see. I can't remember what this tree was right here that I'm showing you, but it's alive, and it's a persimmon tree, but it's the sweet type. This is the type that's like an apple. It almost died, but then I was able to pay a lot of attention to it, and came back to life, but no blossoms, no fruit. So I'm looking forward to hopefully something this coming spring. But then I have 2 apple trees right over there, and then I've got a black apple down by the gate down there, and then I've got a Granny Smith in the corner down there. You know, I may have to dig up all of these trees. They're still young, as you can tell, because I only planted them about 1.5 years ago. So, and the root base is still very small. So if I'm going to transplant, this would be the time to do it. So what I'm thinking of doing is transplanting several of the apple trees right over here. This is still our property right here. Goes almost to that dead tree stump there. Well, not quite over there, but I've got all of this space here. I can easily, this is still our property. So I could take the apple trees, space them 10 to 15 feet apart, and put them up here. I can bring the watering system up here, not a problem. Because, you know, is somebody going to complain about the roots going to the Leachfield? If you look at where our back patio is there, and then there's a hill going up, and I'm at the top of the hill at the back of our property now. That whole area, all of this area right here that I'm panning around here, that's a leach field, and it's about several feet below. They're supposed to only be like 2 feet down or so, but it's more like 4. I think it's more like 4 feet. When they built the house, they did some things that, well, anyway, it's okay. A lot of discovery, a lot of issues that had to be taken care of on this property. And so I haven't been doing a lot of videos because, we've been doling out the bucks to get things corrected on this little piece of property here. So something can happen. And I'm not finished yet. I still have several fruit trees, and I've got a bunch of peach trees and pear trees on that other side of the property that I guess I'm going to be pulling up, and I'm going to be transplanting them over here on the other side of this wooden fence. Right, I don't know if you can see that bird post thing going up back there, but so all of that's going to take place. I will be videotaping a lot of this activity and explaining a lot of it as I go along here, and I hope to get all of this accomplished before spring, and hopefully the trees will still survive, and I won't be losing hundreds, I mean literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I've invested into planting all these trees. I've already had to transplant a chestnut tree and a couple other trees in the front of our property. So wow, a lot of things. So that's what's sort of been going on here at the Fruits and Berries Small Tennessean Homestead. I'm excited, and I just need to get, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would never have moved to a subdivision, but we had acreage in Texas, and, I never even thought about it. And this was a cute little house, and it was totally affordable. We were able to get out of debt, so we have no mortgage type of thing. And I paid off a lot of debt, and it was just awesome. But nobody ever told me exactly where the Leachfield was located. That's how naive I was 2 years ago. And I didn't even know where our septic tank was located. We have city water. I even questioned that. We just put in a sizable filtration system just because the chlorine is just unbelievable. Or chlorine, or whatever you want to call it, that's in the public water system here. You don't want to put that on your plants. Right now I have no choice. I'll tell you, if I ever had to do it over again, which is maybe a slight possibility when things settle down here, that we'll redo maybe some things or relocate in the future. I'm getting sort of old for this type of activity. I was hoping that this was going to be it, and it still may be it for us once I get things corrected. So anyway, so that's sort of with what's going on, and just a lot of things going on in this nation and in the world right now. And so I think it's wisdom just saying to stay put, don't do anything crazy at the moment. And that would be my prayer and hope for all of you that may be watching this video also. That just hang tight, because this is a brand new year, 2022, and we have no idea with what's going to come about yet. But I do have hope, and my hope is not in a man. My hope is in the living God, Jesus Christ. And so that's where my wife and I stand to this day. So anyway, I'm excited about with what we're doing here. And I just wanted to give you this quick update. It's probably about 26 degrees outside right now. My hand holding this gimbal with a camera on it is freezing. So I think I will stop videotaping. I videotaped enough, and I'll update, or not update, but upload to YouTube and get this going, so at least some of you that are following me will have an idea with what's going on. And my knee is getting better. It's only since today's Friday. The wreckage of my knee and the severe pain all occurred this past Sunday. So don't ever want to do that again. Sheesh. And so today is actually one of my first days that I'm able to actually get out. I'm not bending my knee. I'm just sort of like walking like a old man, as if I'm a young man. Anyway, I don't want to even go there. But anyway, I'm excited, and my wife Ida, she's excited with our potential this coming spring with all that we're doing. I will say this: I was not going to say it, but I think I will. We've never done our livestock would be our two dogs. And I subscribe to a zillion, to me, like a zillion YouTube homesteaders that are like in North Carolina and South Carolina with Roots and Refuge and the Holler Homestead, and there's just so many others out there that are just incredible. Living traditions in Missouri is unbelievable. We are considering doing some eggs and birds here. Now, since it's a ding-dong subdivision, the covenant says you're not supposed to have any chickens, but I went to the police here in Tusculum, Tennessee, and they said, Wayne, that you won't have a problem. My gosh, you back up to 120 acres of farmland and nobody's going to say anything or do anything. But what I have been looking at are quail, and I have been looking seriously into possibly doing quail here for eggs and for meat, and it is very possible and affordable. I mean, it's extremely affordable from what I'm seeing. And I just, in the next 2 weeks, I'm traveling to a friend here that is raising quail. He's a homesteader, and he's also in our ecclesia that we do here on a weekly basis. And they've invited me to come on over and so I can see their property and get an idea. And there's several other things that we're doing also. It's just a day outing, and I'll probably spend the night at their place. They're about a 2-hour one-way commute from here, but I'm going to seriously look at his quail business and what they're doing and how they're sustaining themselves with a supplemental food. And so that will be brand new here on the homestead. And I'm excited to share a little bit of that with y'all. So anyway, that's enough for right now. I've talked long enough, this monologue, and God bless you. And hey, if you have not subscribed, I believe it will be well worth to subscribe, because there are going to be some incredible things. I'm going to be doing some things a little bit different this next year. First of all, my game plan is to commit no less than once a week, if not twice a week, minimal, on doing uploads. And that is a commitment. And each week, when I do minimal, one or two, it's going to be well worth your while to see what's going on here. And I'm really going to take this commitment seriously. And so anyway, I'm excited. And so God bless you all. Subscribe if you have not yet. And thank you so much for listening to this. And I hope it gives you an idea that I'm still around and that things are going to start to pop here. And so anyway, God bless you, and I will see you on the next one, okay? Take care. The Lord bless you. Bye-bye.